When my son Jordan was very young, maybe 6 or 7 years old, he made a profound realization that having money enabled you to buy things for yourself. And so he became obsessed with finding loose change. Everywhere we would go, errands, shopping, restaurants, he was like a man possessed, just scanning and looking. He would look under tables and pull up rugs and look underneath. He would swipe his hands under vending machines and poke his fingers into coin returns. In the parking lot, he would look under cars. He would look in the bushes. And it's amazing how often he was successful and how quickly the change added up to enough for him to buy himself something meaningful. Jordan had stumbled onto the key of success without ever having watched a motivational video or read a book on success. He just figured it out. What is the key to success? Well, you might think you know what it is based on the story, which is to go after your dreams relentlessly, to be tenacious, to be disciplined, to be dedicated, to have resolve. While those things are great to have, that's not the key to success. I don't think so anyway. There is a far deeper key embedded within that story, and that's the true key to success, one that will allow you to live a fulfilled and happy life. Let's talk about it. We get bombarded with success messages all the time in advertising, on social media, in books, constantly being told, don't be mediocre, you have to strive, you have to set goals, you have to do this and you have to do that. But the truth is, most people are not very successful at reaching their goals. Most people, they struggle with motivation. They struggle being determined. They struggle being disciplined over a long period of time as they work toward a goal. How many people join a gym on January 1st thinking, this is it. This time I'm gonna get in shape and I'm gonna get that six-pack that I've always wanted. And then by March, they've quit. That's common. And that's true of most things that people undertake. Most people end up quitting. It's my conviction that if you focus your efforts on becoming disciplined and determined and resolute, again, those things are great, but that's not going to get you all the way to the destination. There's a much deeper lesson. It's a simpler lesson. It's a more organic lesson that we can learn from that story. A lesson that, as I mentioned in the intro, will allow us to live a much more fulfilled and happy existence. So what is that lesson? Well, the lesson is joy. Joy. Jordan loved the hunt just as much as he loved finding the bounty. In other words, Jordan loved the process just as much as the result, maybe more even, because he spent more time looking than actually finding. That, my friends, is the key to success. Finding something you love to do so much that you become unstoppable because you can't wait to do that thing. It's the first thing you think about in the morning while you're waking up, and it's the last thing you think about at night when you're going to sleep. If you don't love the process, you're never going to reach the result. Or maybe you'll reach a result if you have enough willpower, enough determination. If you embrace the grind, doing something you don't like to do, maybe you'll achieve the goal, but it's going to be a lifeless, soulless goal. There's no joy in that. Real joy, real happiness, real fulfillment comes from spending your days doing that thing that you love to do the most. I've been very successful in life in a variety of realms. I have engrossed myself deeply to learn skills at a deep level. If you were to ask the people that are close to me, they would probably tell you, oh, Rick is very disciplined, he's very dedicated, he is obsessed even when he has a goal he's trying to reach. Here's the thing, I have never paid any attention to those terms. I have literally never thought of myself as being dedicated, or being disciplined, or being determined, or being resolute, or having tenacity. I'm actually fundamentally very, very lazy, which might surprise people to hear because I've achieved a lot of things. But I am. I'm extremely lazy. If it's something that I have no interest in, you can't get me to do it. On the other hand, if I have curiosity about something, if I'm interested and intrigued by something, if I begin developing a passion for something, then I become like a pit bull on a bone. You can't pull me away from doing that thing. That is how I've always achieved the things that I've achieved. I earned my black belt in jiu-jitsu. It took me 15 years. If I didn't love the process, I would have never made it. If I didn't love being on the mats, getting smashed, getting tapped out, having my ego smashed, even with the aches and pains and the injuries, I love it. And that's what keeps me doing it day after day. It's not the goal. I mean, yeah, I wanted to earn my black belt. I knew that when I started. But the goal was just an acknowledgement that I did the work. And I did the work because I loved the work. I'll tell you another story about Jordan. When he was around 12, he would look over my shoulder while I was working on the computer, programming or doing design work or creative media, whatever I was doing. He would just watch. And he took an interest in that and he wanted to learn to code. So I started teaching him. And I would just give him little projects. For example, I said, oh, let's learn JavaScript. And I would teach him a few fundamentals, and then I would send him off with a project. I'd say, look, go build a clock. And he did. And then the next week, maybe I'd say, look, go design a website using Photoshop, and then I'm gonna help you build it out using HTML. And then later, let's use PHP, which is another scripting language that I used to code in. We'll use that to create some dynamic elements on the page. And that's kind of how it went for a little while. I really didn't teach him very long because he fell in love with it and became absolutely obsessed. Before long, he was doing game development. He was building plugins for Minecraft. He was doing 3D modeling. He was doing incredible graphic designs in 3D, and he was becoming an incredible programmer. He was doing app development. At 16, he created his first app for the Mac App Store. And because he was a minor and he couldn't own his own LLC, I became a partner in this company that's his company today. He's 21 and he's still working for himself in the company that he founded when he was 16 years old. And again, that story is one of love and joy and immersion into something that you feel passionate about and something you love. I literally never, in all the years that I mentored my children, I never talked about dedication. I never talked about determination. I never talked about how you should be tenacious. I never talked about any of that standard sort of success stuff that we're conditioned to think is the pathway forward. I simply exposed my kids to a variety of things and allowed them to find the things that they loved and encouraged them to do more of those things. That's the key to being successful, because it becomes an effortless expression of your interests toward a goal. Far too many people set these goals that are these far off things with low probability. And then they expect themselves to do all this work, and then they feel guilty because they're not putting in the time, and they have more work to do, but they're really not doing it. And then it becomes this feedback loop of feeling bad about themselves. Or, they go to the gym and they're trying to force themselves to go to the gym, and it's just taking too much willpower and too much resolve. It might seem counterintuitive, but I don't recommend that people set goals. Don't set a goal. I almost never set goals. I simply pursue the things that I love. So if I hate the gym, if I hate lifting weights, but I think I need to be fit, what I do is I go to jujitsu because I love it. And so you have to reframe that. If there's something that you want to achieve, but the pathway to get there is like walking over rocks barefoot, well, maybe you need to find a different way there that involves something that you feel passionate about and that you love. Don't just set goals because you think society tells you should have these goals. Find things to do that you love, and success will flow effortlessly from that. The goals will manifest themselves as objectives that you begin setting as you're doing this thing that you enjoy doing. That is how you do it, in my opinion. Give it a shot. We'll talk next time.